Are you confused as to how to select a color scheme for your home? With so many different colors available, every material has a color, everything has an undertone, warmness, coolness, and you're super confused as to where to start, how to define a color scheme for each room, then you are at the right place, because in today's video, we are going to be discussing about the 60-30-10 rule, which is an amazing rule to decide the color scheme of your space. Hey guys, I'm Sonika, an interior design content creator, educator, and I'm here to break it down step by step as to how you can make a color scheme for your home, and also introduce you to the world of colors so you don't make a mistake selecting the right color scheme for your space. So firstly, let's begin with understanding the different colors that there are. So firstly, there are neutral colors, which are your white, beige, taupe, greige, all sorts of warm whites. There are so many different tones, undertones of white and beige and taupe and all of these things. Then there are your earthy tones. So your terracotta, a little more colors which basically represent our earthy shades like browns and all the tones like that. Then we have our pastel colors like pastel pink, soft green, powder blue, buttercream yellow. So all those soothing colors which actually make you feel very soothing. Then there are dark and moody colors like midnight blue, dark maroon, and so many different colors. So once you know there are different categories of colors, it makes it easy for you to begin by selecting a color scheme for your space. Before we do that, it's extremely important for you to understand that these colors don't just come in solid form. You will see colors in wood. Now wood has different tones. There is maple, there is light wood, there is dark wood, there is walnut. So wood also has a different shade. It's light, it's dark. Then you have so many different materials like rattan, your boucle fabric, your textures, wallpaper, wall paintings, wall covers. So all these textures are also adding a lot of color. So they also have to be kept into account while you're making a color scheme for your space. Then your fixed finishes like your marble, flooring, tiles, so many other things also have color. So it's not just selecting colors in their solid form. The texture, the same color can look very different when you see it in different textures. Same color can look very different in different lighting as well. So we will get into that in more videos where I create more detailed videos about this. But for now, to start off with, you need to understand that there is a rule called the 60-30-10 rule, which actually helps you curate a very harmonious, balanced color scheme for your space. Now, it's not necessary that you follow it by thumb rule, but it actually helps you making a good color palette for your space. I'm just going to share this with an example so you can understand how to go about selecting colors. And of course, there are many permutations and combinations and variations of how you can go about it. First and foremost, the step number one is to select your primary color, which will be the 60% of your space. Now, you could do this for your entire house if you want your entire house to be in the same color scheme, or you could start with a room. So let's just talk about one room first, so it will simplify the process. So you begin with selecting a primary color, and preferably it should be some family of neutrals, until and unless you're trying to create a totally different themed room where you want a dominating color to be like an accent color. But here I'm talking about 80 to 90% of how spaces look. So you select, you just choose one color, like from white, cream, taupe, greige, beige, and grey. So amongst these colors, you choose one color. So we're going to select cream. So I'm going to show you with an example of how we're going to go about it. So I've selected cream here as my primary color. So since I wanted to be in the 60% of my area, I'm going to choose the undertones of this color only. So now that I'm going to look about for materials, I know that I need to find things which are in the family of cream. So for the room that I'm designing, I'm going to go with the flooring, the paint, and the wallpaper to be in the undertones of cream. Now there is no rule which says that it has to be the exact shade of cream. Of course, there can be different undertones. It can be little varied from one another, but has to be in the same family, because 60% we are covering with this. Now majority of the area that is covered in our spaces is usually flooring, walls, wallpaper, big pieces of furniture. So accordingly, you can select the safest bet is to go with your flooring, wall, ceiling, and maybe a wallpaper in the same tone. And this is how I'm placing it. So I'm using Canva here, where I'm just adding layers of all these materials by using simple drop and pick techniques, because it is easier for me to create these designs. Of course, if I want to create them in detail as a designer, I would use SketchUp, or I would take the help of AI. But here I'm using Canva to simply just place things together to see how it's going to look before I actually go about my final design. Then I would go with my secondary color, which needs needs to be a complementary or a harmonious color. So in the color wheel, I'm going to see which color is the next color. So I'm going to go for a taupe color, which is a little darker, and it's in the same family, but it's in a darker tone of green. So now what I'm doing is I want to add some wood louvers. So in the wood, I'm introducing the secondary color and my rug and the lamps. So these three elements in my space, I want to add with the secondary color. Now we are going to select the accent color, which is totally contrasting. Why this works well is because, you know, when you have a neutral base to all your fixed finishes, which are not easy to change every now and then, but if in your accent color, which you can add through art, probably your cushions, decor, that can be changed. So another good way of following this rule for making a color scheme is that you can change this later on, but your fixed finishes remain the same. So here I'm selecting a very soft tone of sage green. Now already the wallpaper that I selected had that tinge of green, if you can see. Now I've added two side tables in green and I've added a green cushion in the center. So that's 10% of the color that I have used. And now I'm using AI to actually make a photorealistic render of the same. You can see it on your screen. This is how the room turns out to be with the 60-30-10 rule. So it creates a very harmonious look and it generates a very, very soothing design. If you want to learn more about this, I have a color scheme course where I'm teaching everything in detail about how you can master color combinations in interiors. There's a handbook with a lot of color schemes, examples, which you can use in your space right away. Or if you want to learn about colors, I'm going to leave the link of that too. If you want to learn Canva, I have a course on Canva. I have a course on AI as well. So I'm going to leave all the links of the courses in the description below. If you like today's video and would like to see more such videos with examples and how you can design your space, home hacks, anything related to interior design, then do drop into the comments below. I would love to hear that. Don't forget to share this video with someone making a new home. Subscribe to my channel because that really motivates me to grow further. And you can follow me on Instagram where I do share daily updates and a lot other short form content apart from YouTube Shorts, of course. So I'm going to see you in the next video and hope you liked today's video.